inside that. Oh my god, there's a Monokuma in the— ah, shit! There's a refrigerator.
Nice. My cottage doesn't even have a refrigerator. I wonder where he got it from.
Nagito probably supplied it himself.
Why would he go to the trouble of putting a refrigerator in his room? Does he really enjoy cold drinks?
As I talked with Chiaki, I opened the refrigerator out of curiosity. There really isn't much inside. The only thing inside the refrigerator was a brown bottle.
For someone who likes cold drinks, it doesn't look like he stocked very much. But that bottle clearly isn't a drink, right?
Really? It looks like some kind of dietary supplement to me. Protein powder, maybe? I think the brown bottle out of the fridge— Wow. I took the brown bottle out of the fridge and started reading the label. Exclusive meat— Oh!
Exclusive me. I just want to read the game and get to the trial, and I'm so close to the trial. What is it?
Exclusively made for poisoning someone to death? Hey, this is—
Yeah, it looks like poison.
Poison?
It looks like there's a warning label on the back. Let's examine it in a little more detail. But be careful with that bottle. Don't drop it.
Stop it. If you worry like that, I'm gonna get nervous. I grabbed the bottle with my trembling hand and began reading the warning label on the back of the bottle. Poison made specifically for killing Monokuma. It's Monokuma special poison. The poison made for Monokuma. Cusco's special poison. Poison made specifically for killing someone. It's Monokuma's special poison. This enchanted liquid is highly potent and takes effect immediately. Please handle with care. Though its volatility is low, the liquid is very dangerous when vaporized. In a gaseous state, it is heavier than air, it breaks down in minutes, and it is susceptible to hydrolysis. So it is possible for you to poison someone to death without any complications. Keep this liquid secure by storing it in a cool place in a glass or plastic container away from sunlight. I pressed the wrong button.
This sure does look like a chemical made solely for poisoning someone to death. This refrigerator must be oh my god, must be here to keep the poison secure.
But where did Nagito get something like this?
That question could apply to the bomb he used at the hotel, too.
Apply to the bomb?
There should be a reason Nagito was able to obtain such dangerous items.
The octagon inside the funhouse. This poison, he must have brought it with him from there too, right?
He was probably hiding them somewhere on his body during the last class trial.
He was hiding a bomb and poison during the class trial?
Jeez, how dangerous. What would he have done if he accidentally tripped and broke the bottle?
Just thinking about it scares me.
Also, he already blew up the bomb he took with him at the lobby. But what about this poison?
Huh?
See?
It looks like the bottle is less than half empty. Was it like this from the beginning? Or did Nagito use it? If so, where did he use it? I wonder, is there still a trap somewhere that hasn't been sprung yet?
Another trap?
For example, maybe he was making some kind of trap using this poison before he died. If that actually exists, it'd be real bad. It could potentially kill everyone on this island.
Everyone on this island? What the hell? Nagito, are you still trying to make us suffer? Are you still trying to make us suffer even after you've died?
Yay! I think I got all of them now. I think that's what that is. Okay, musical.
There are a lot of books and other mysterious items stuffed on this shelf. The genres and the types of items are all so random, I can't make any sense out of them whatsoever.
They say a shelf is a mirror that reflects a person's heart.
Do they now?
I definitely don't know much about Nagito just by looking at this.
So what should we do? It'd be really difficult to look through all these piles.
That doesn't mean we should ignore it, though. I'll leave it to you then, Hajime.
Wait, what?
It's better if a boy goes through another boy's things. You know, there might be private stuff here.
Well, that might be true, but
So, I'll leave this shelf to you.
I think I just got persuaded to do this without realizing it. I sighed and walked toward the shelf. One by one, I started removing the various books and items and examining each one. But even as I examined them carefully, they were still a bunch of random books and items. There's no way there are any clues here. Huh? Well, that file wasn't the only one I received from Monokuma. What? Shouldn't this be Komaeda again? This is another one. They keep messing that up. That seal. Indeed, it's the school badge of Hope's Peak Academy.
Does that have information about our stolen memories?
Unfortunately, I couldn't find any clues about that. This file doesn't contain our information, just Hajime's information. Nagito said this only contained information about me, but is that really true? If I look at this, it should be obvious, right? And he said I was from the reserve department and had no talent whatsoever. That might be another one of his lies, too. I opened the file I held in my hand to confirm that. Instantly, I realized something was strange. If this really has only my information, why is this file so thick? As soon as I opened it, it was clear to me. Just as I thought, Nagito had lied to me. Aside from my information, there was information about the others. Kazuichi, Fuyuhiko, Kane and Sonia, and everyone who died had pages of information about them too. The file contained information on all 16 of us. Only my information, my ass. I can't believe you'd make up such a strange lie. So that means the rest of it might be a lie too? I turned to the page containing my information and began reading through the content. The profile contained basic information such as my date of birth, my height, my weight, and so forth. And there was one thing that specifically caught my eye. The words reserve course student. There was no denying it. It confirmed that I was truly a reserve course student from the reserve department. Why is this the only thing that isn't a lie? Why? Why am I the only one here who's from the reserve department? Why? Why do you keep saying why twice? Why am I here with all the other ultimates?
Hajime, did something happen?
Well, I just found a strange file.
Isn't that the special prize Nagito received when he cleared the final dead room? As I recall, your student profile should be in there.
It's not just my profile. The profiles of everyone on this island are in here too. Nagito was lying.
Huh? When you say everyone, do you mean everyone?
Yeah, it's just basic information, but there should be profiles for all 16 of us. Why are you smiling at reserve course student? That's not a good thing. It's not something to smile about.
Can I take a look at that file?
Chiaki leaned against me and peered into the file. Definitely not a good thing to be smiling over.
You're right. My profile is really in here, but unfortunately, there doesn't seem to be any details.
Details?
Details about our missing memories. Information about the time we spent at Hope's Peak Academy. If it's not written in there, these profiles might have been written before we entered the academy.
I disagree with that, but okay. Lean closer, Chiaki. I agree.
And it's impossible to obtain new clues from them.
Yeah, seems like it.
Hold on.
What happened?
I just noticed it right now, but...
The file. His name isn't in there, right? There's supposed to be 16 names worth of profiles, but his name is the only one missing, right?
Who are you talking about?
Byakuya. I'm talking about Byakuya Togami. Look carefully. No matter where I look, I don't see his name anywhere.
No way!
So what if a name isn't written in that file? Perhaps, based on that, you think he might be the traitor? No, it's not just because his name isn't written in here. That's not the only reason I think he's suspicious. He participated in the killing school life at Hope's Peak Academy, right? For someone like him to be in a similar situation on this island, no matter what, it's definitely suspicious. Well, it pains me to say this, but what you're saying about the missing name and about the killing school life, it's totally wrong. There's a completely different reason. A different reason?
You're getting all
How should I
riled up.
put this? You guys have been getting all worked up about that Byakuya for no reason. Which means the great mystery that you think surrounds that Byakuya doesn't exist. You're basing it on one person's cheap speculation. What do you mean? You don't have to ask me that. You'd know the answer just by looking through those profiles, right? Huh? My eyes turned back to the file. One by one, I started flipping through the pages and confirming the names. And suddenly, I came across a page that was filled with question marks. Every section was filled with question marks. It could barely be considered a student profile. On that page, I was only able to confirm one thing. Ultimate imposter? That's that Byakuya's true identity! True identity? He was oops, no, it's Monokuma. He was a fake that was pretending to be the ultimate affluent progeny, Byakuya Togami! A fake? The fact that his profile is filled with question marks isn't a mistake or an oversight. Surprisingly enough, that's the correct information regarding him. The ultimate imposter has no name, no permanent address, and even his age and gender is unknown. Basically, he doesn't exist. Because he doesn't exist, he's able to exist as anybody. That's his talent. Though I'm not jealous of that at all. I don't know why I read that twice. That person wasn't really Byakuya Togami?
Is that why he was so much fatter compared to when he was involved in the killing school life?
His physique doesn't affect his ability to fool others at all. Real imposters are skilled like that. Then he was lying to us the whole time?
But
still.
he couldn't help it.
What? Why couldn't he help it?
'Cause that was his talent.
Huh?
Well, having talents means you're also bound to that talent. The moment you obtain talent, your way of life has already been chosen for you. You can't do anything else except rely on that talent. Regardless of whether you want that life or not.
In that sense, compared to the other ultimates, your life might be a bit more liberating. What the hell?
Anyway...
I'm not happy that you guys fell for a scam that I had nothing to do with. So I'll tell you straight up, this revelation about Byakuya is exactly the truth. Then, what was he trying to say to me at that time? I cannot talk to others about my past. I suspect that my skeptical nature is partly to blame. Distrusting others and being distrusted in turn, for a long time my life has been a living hell. Based on that context, if I had to guess, maybe he was just complaining that he was cursed to wander the earth as nothing more than a fraud? But if you guys had your school memories, you never would have been betrayed in the first place. I mean, it'd be different if you were meeting him for the first time. But since you guys went to Hope's Peak Academy, you should have known about the ultimate imposter already. So in the end, it all leads back to memory loss. Jeez, the Future Foundation sure is awful. There's no way you should ignore Monomi or the traitor. Who is it? Who's the traitor? Just from looking at these 16 profiles, I still wouldn't know who's from the Future Foundation. Is there really someone like that? Well, obviously you wouldn't know. I made that file so you guys couldn't find out.
So it's just as I thought. You're the one who did it.
The fact that there are 16 profiles in there is what's wrong. I mean, the traitor is a spy sent by the Future Foundation, not a student from Hope's Peak Academy. You made a fake profile for the traitor and included it in here? It wouldn't be fun if you figured out who the traitor was so easily, right?
Then we can't use this file to figure out who the traitor is. That was true for Nagito too, right?
Well, probably. It's dripping with despair, isn't it? You wasted your precious time on something that isn't a clue. Was that a wise decision? Time's up, you know. Time's up? Wait. Excuse me for a moment. That chime just now.
What is most important for living things? Well, personally, I think time is. I mean, your bank account may go up and down, but time will inevitably run out, right? That's why we gotta cherish time. There is nothing more wasteful than wasting time. So, time's up. We will begin the last class trial. So please gather at Monokuma Rock. I'll see you soon.
The last class trial? He said that, right? He said last class trial.
Yeah, I heard it too. He really did say it was the last class trial.
What do you think? Should we believe him?
Monokuma seemed anxious about the Monokuma timer earlier, right? 2 more days? And he said something about the killing school trip ending, right?
Based on the time limit, this might definitely be the last one.
But still...
But I can't imagine that it's the real end.
Huh?
I think Monokuma's real plan might be just beyond that.
His real plan? Is Monokuma still planning to make us do something? What could it be? Maybe after putting us through all this, he's planning to kill the remaining survivors all at once?
But still, it's also not a good idea to think about it too much, I think. We should focus on the class trial that's waiting for us first.
You're right. A class trial for Nagito's murder. We're pretty screwed. I haven't collected my thoughts because we were so focused on this file. I still can't see who killed Nagito.
But still...
Well, you don't have to worry so much.
Huh?
I mean,
Right?
we're not fighting this alone, you know?
You're right. You're absolutely right. We're not alone. Even if it's a mystery that can't be solved alone, as long as everyone cooperates and works together. Yeah, if we do that, things will turn out fine. Looks like everyone's here. Huh? Is this it? Shouldn't there be more people? Stop it, you're making me depressed. You're making me depressed.
So, it is going to happen again. The cruel conflict where we must doubt our friends.
But once we're through with this, we can go back, right? That Monokuma bastard said so, didn't he? He said this is the last class trial. But we've been tricked every step of the way. There's no way I can believe that so easily. Why can't you believe it? The guy who's making us do all this is the one saying it, you know?
You know.
That's why I'll definitely survive. If we can really go home after we deal with this class trial, I'll definitely find out who the killer is, no matter what, even if I have to pull out all the stops. What the fuck? Why are you here?
You haven't realized it yet? That feeling of wanting to leave this island, thinking like that is Monokuma's trap, you know?
What are you saying?
There's no way Monokuma will end things here. He's planning something far worse.
Stop trying to jinx us! Damn right, stupid rabbit just... blah, blah, blah. I'm so mad. Damn right, stupid rabbits should just shut up.
Everyone, you mustn't run away from despair.
Huh?
I finally realized, after losing my powers, I've realized that cursing your powerlessness or your fate accomplishes nothing. The possibility may be small, but as long as there's a possibility, you must face it in order to become someone who can be proud of yourself. So I will fight!
What's her deal?
I do not really know, but she seems different from before.
Maybe she read a self-help book. But her eyes, she looked so determined. What can you tell just by looking at those button eyes? Anyway, make sure you turn off Minimaru. It'd be annoying if he started talking during the trial. Oh, fine.
But still,
Somehow, I understand what Monomi's saying. I think.
Anyway, let's get going to the last class trial.
You're right. We need to fight as much as we can. No matter what hopelessness oh my goodness. No matter what hopeless truth awaits us in the end.
This is the end. I kept saying those words to myself over and over within my mind. I entered Monokuma Rock.
Yeah.
This elevator ride. This'll be the last time for this too, right? I hope so.
well,
Let's worry about things after we're finished.
you
More
are
importantly,
right.
we must focus on the class trial before us. Awkward.
Damn it.
The killer managed to kill someone like Nagito. There's no way this is gonna go smoothly. I mean, I still can't believe one of us was able to do that.
Hey, Jonah. Nagito was problematic in many ways, but he was also a valuable asset during the trials.
Yeah, you're right. In fact, during the Funhouse ordeal, we were completely dependent on him. But even if he's gone, the ones who survived need to stand up and fight. Sorry, stand and fight. We must fight. And then the door slowly opened. This bright light greeting us. Is that the light of hope? Or the light of despair? Well then, now that chatterbox Nagito's gone, there are only 6 of you left. Enough! Just fucking start this already. Hey, this is it, right? This is really the last class trial, right? It sure is. So you gotta show some enthusiasm and make sure you give it your all. Didn't I tell you? He said it. This is the end. Let's get this trial started. This is the last class trial. Let's show some enthusiasm and kill each other. What? This is the 5th class trial. According to Monokuma, this is also the last class trial. That curtain is about to rise. Nagito Komaeda, the ultimate lucky student. When I first met him, I thought he was a nice guy. He came across as very sociable. But his true nature held such a demented thought process that was nothing like his outward appearance. He said he believed in hope more than anything else. He said he was yearning for a powerful hope that can overcome any despair. He said he would even help despair just to prove that hope will never lose to despair. And he said he'd become a stepping stone for hope. His way of thinking was completely screwed up. But there was also times he saved us too. Someone like him was killed. That was the end of him. And I had no idea at all who did it, but... Sorry, I have no idea. There's no way we can end this without knowing. We will be consumed by despair. Oh man. That's why we absolutely have to find out. The person who finished off Nagito. The killer who murdered Nagito. In order to return from this despair alive, we need to reach the truth. And if Monokuma says this is really the last class trial, that's all the more reason we need to do this. And so, this life-threatening trial billowing with hope and despair, the last one, has begun.
Note, there's still one more chapter after this. Okay, let's get going. Time for me to rest my voice for a bit. Prepare my voice for Hatoful Boyfriend. So much voice acting today. Now, this is apparently the last class trial, but there is still another chapter, so you'll have to see. Voice acting day. I'm dead. Goodbye.
Now then, let's begin with a simple explanation of the class trial. During the class trial, you will present your arguments for who the killer is and vote for who done it. If you vote correctly, then only the blackened will receive punishment. But if you pick the wrong person, I'll punish everyone besides the blackened, and that person will earn the right to leave this island. Oh my, Monami? My cute little sister? You're awfully quiet. What's happened to you? You've ascended the ladder of adulthood and reached the moon? Because you're a rabbit? Chesto! One more time! Jeez! How about this one? This will be my final blow! It's useless.
Please stop! I feel bad for Monomi.
You're right. Now's not the time for me to horse around with Monami. The class trial has started, after all. The victim this time is Nagito, who was attempting to reveal the traitor for everyone's sake. Who in the world killed him? I'm so curious.
If he was killed for trying to reveal the traitor, that traitor is obviously the killer. They were trying to shut Nagito up.
No, that might not be it.
Huh? Are you trying to protect the traitor? They didn't call out when we were in danger. Wait. Don't tell me you're the traitor.
Don't say something so stupid! There's no way in hell I'm the traitor!
Now that's more like it! Why don't you guys hurry and start arguing already?
The traitor and the killer who murdered Nagito is here, right? Are they the same person? Or...
killer didn't tape Nagito's mouth to shut him up. I'm telling you, they were torturing him.
The reason Nagito's body was covered with wounds.
It's because the killer tortured Nagito.
So that's why he was so beat up. What were they trying to find out by torturing him? Definitely the bomb's hiding place! If so, the suspect is whoever found the bomb first!
That was Fuyuhiko. I found it by coincidence. There's no way I'd torture someone.
Why did the killer have to torture Nagito? No, were the wounds on Nagito's body really caused by torture in the first place?
The killer did. Didn't tape Nagito's mouth to shut him up. I'm telling you, they were torturing him.
The reason Nagito's body was covered with wounds.
It's because the killer tortured Nagito.
I don't know if that's. I don't know if that's
why
right.
he was
I'm kind of
so
lost
beat up.
right now.
Definitely the bomb's hiding.
I spaced out a little bit. Now I'm lost.
That was Fuyuhiko. I found it by coincidence. There's no way I'd
Torture someone?
The killer didn't tape that. I'm telling you, they were the reason Nagito's body.
It's because the killer tortured Nagito.
Ah, got it.
No,
Sweet.
that's wrong.
But Nagito's mouth was covered with duct tape, so he wouldn't have been able to confess anything. If he was being tortured for information, they wouldn't have taped his mouth like that.
I'm prepared. Ah, I just realized it. It's a trap.
Trap?
Stupid Hajime. You got caught in that trap.
Stupid.
Like you said, if Nagito's mouth was taped shut, you'd obviously assume he couldn't talk, right? But that was the trap. He wanted to hide the fact that he got interrogated.
But if you tape his mouth shut, how is he supposed to answer anything?
Pay attention. This is how at first the killer tortured Nagito and got information about the bomb's location. Then, after they killed him, they duct taped his mouth shut.
Crap!
Pay attention. This is how it went down. First, the killer tortured Nagito and got information. And then, after they killed him,
Whoopsie.
Damn it!
Oh, I did it all
like
over
you
again.
said, if Nagito's mouth was taped, you obviously assume he couldn't talk, right? But that was the trap. He wanted to hide the fact that he got interrogated. Like you said, if Nagito's mouth was taped shut, you'd obviously assume he couldn't talk, right? But that was the trap. He wanted to hide the fact that he got interrogated.
But if you tape his mouth shut, how is he supposed to answer anything?
Pay attention, this is how it went down. First, the killer tortured Nagito and got information about the bomb's location. Then, after they killed him, they duct taped his
I don't think
mouth
this is
shut.
right. No, it's gonna. I think it's duct tape on the second one.
Pay attention, this is how it went down. First, the killer tortured and got information about the bomb's location. Then, after they killed him,
Allow me to cut through
Got it.
those words! No, there's no doubt Nagito's mouth was covered with duct tape before he was beat up.
what did you say?
cares about the duct tape? We might as well settle this with rock, paper, scissors.
We don't need to play a game. It's clear the duct tape was on his mouth before the torture even began.
Why do you always side with Hajime? Do you have a crush on him or something?
Yes. Are you in elementary school or something?
You were with us when I peeled the duct tape off Nagito's mouth, right? The blood on Nagito's face wasn't under the duct tape, remember?
The blood on his face came from his arm wounds, which means the duct tape was on his face before his arms were even wounded.
And the duct tape had a lot of crinkles around his mouth. He must have been struggling to open his mouth under the duct tape.
Perhaps the duct tape was used so he wouldn't be able to scream. Then it's like I said at the beginning. The tape wasn't for torture. It was to keep his mouth shut.
However, if they wanted to seal his mouth, they did not need to hurt him with such ferocity.
They probably had a deep grudge against Nagito.
Then, are you saying the killer was trying to make him suffer?
If so, it's friggin' crazy. Did they go psycho or something?
No, they didn't just go crazy. Whoever did this must be one crafty bastard. If not, they wouldn't have taken the time to set fire to the crime scene and destroy all the evidence.
The warehouse fire was for destroying evidence?
You can't think of any other reason.
But who could have done that? When the fire occurred, everyone in this room was gathered in front of the warehouse.
Yeah, and right after I opened the warehouse door, the flames started burning from the very back.
Which means, it is plausible to think that nobody here set the fire.
The killer isn't one of us. But that's not the case, huh? I mean, it's wishful thinking.
Even if it was only a coincidence, the timing was just too perfect.
Based on the pattern up until now, we should suspect that some kind of setup was used for this.
Some kind of setup? Like what?
I do not know that, but that has been the pattern before.
That's our Miss Sonia. You have such an amazingly high intellect. Alrighty then, let's think about this based on what Miss Sonia thinks. Is that okay, Miss Sonia?
Damn right it is!
The reason for the fire, huh? They're right. We need to clear that up first.
The direct cause of the fire was the oil lighter found at the crime scene, right?
The killer used some kind of setup. He lit the curtain on fire with the lighter.
Some kind of setup?
Did they use the oil as an improvised fuse?
They probably just threw the lighter.
Based on the shape of that oil lighter, it can stand upright while the flame is lit.
If they tipped over the lighter in some way, it could have ignited the curtain.
Some way?
Maybe they used invisible thread.
There should have been a way to tip it over with sound waves.
Or perhaps opening the door caused intense wind pressure to tip over the lighter.
The direct cause of the foggy oil lighter found at the killer used some kind. He lit the curtain on fire with
Some kind of setup?
Did they use the oil as an improvised fuse?
They probably just
threw the lighter.
Based on the shape of that oil lighter, it can stand upright while
The flame is lit.
If they tipped over the lighter in some way, it could have ignited the curtain.
Some way?
Maybe they used invisible thread.
There should have been a way to tip it over with sound waves.
Or perhaps opening the door caused
I agree with that. I also agree that opening the door is what started the fire.
just as I thought. It was the wind pressure. A dust devil blown here from glorious Japan.
No, not wind pressure. They probably used the Monokuma panels. A huge number of tipped-over Monokuma panels were found at the crime scene, right? It looked like they were scattered everywhere, but some were laying on top of each other in a single line. Just a single line leading from the warehouse door to the fire's origin.
Does that mean anything?
The killer probably arranged those Monokuma panels to create a domino effect.
A domino effect. You mean those tiles kids play with by lining them up and tipping them over?
In place of those tiles, the killer used the Monokuma panels. So when we opened the warehouse door, the first panel toppled into the second. And from there, they fell like dominoes until they reached the lighter at the end.
But wouldn't it be obvious that those big panels were falling over?
That's probably why they turned off the lights in the warehouse, so we wouldn't notice them.
So the reason the warehouse was dark was to hide the domino effect.
And one more thing. There was something else the killer did to hide the domino effect, right?
The killer did one other thing to hide the domino effect.
I see! You're talking about the MP3 player, right? That hymn blaring throughout the warehouse masked the sound of the falling panels.
The inside of the warehouse felt even darker because our eyes were still used to the bright sunlight outside. Within that darkness, a loud hymnal blared throughout the warehouse at full volume. Hey, do you guys hear something? Yeah, it's really damn loud. Does Nagito like listening to this depressing crap? No, I'm not talking about the music. And as if on cue, it suddenly started.
That's it. So the strange sound was actually the sound of the panels falling.
But those sounds weren't the only strange thing, right? Looking back on it, it was also strange when we opened the door to the warehouse.
I'm not reading this again. I read it already. When she opens the door. I read it like 6 times. No, I'm not reading it again. Akane opened the door slowly, it didn't work, so she opened it faster.
So the door was being blocked by a Monokuma panel.
And when we opened the door, the domino effect started, and the falling panels eventually reached the lighter.
Yeah, and that's how the warehouse caught on fire. At least, that's how it looks.
You don't look so sure.
At the time, Akane mentioned that she could barely open the door.
Because the panel was blocking it, right?
But the blocked doorway, there wasn't enough space for a person to fit through, right?
Is that a problem?
It's a major problem. I mean, that door was the only entrance to the warehouse.
Oops, I skipped that. So the problem Chiaki's talking about is...
I see! If the panel was so close to the door that it could barely be opened, the killer inside the warehouse wouldn't be able to leave, right?
Now that you mention it.
Does that mean they were hiding inside?
Who? We were all outside the warehouse, you know.
We couldn't take any merch.
Based on the patterns up until now, I believe some kind of setup was used.
You don't have to think so hard. There's actually only one person who could have possibly done this.
Huh?
You don't mean...
But if that's true, this murder...
Hajime? What do you mean?
The person who set up the domino effect inside the warehouse. There's only one person who could have done that. Props, Hyoko.
This is my answer! What if It was Nagito.
Why'd you bring him up? He's the victim, you know.
He wasn't just the victim. Maybe.
Huh?
Not just the victim? What does that mean?
He was the victim. And he was the perpetrator, too. Maybe.
Are you saying this was a suicide? Don't be stupid.
No, you. I'm kidding.
His body was covered in torture wounds. Or did you already forget? Are you saying those were all self-inflicted?
But Nagito might do something like that, don't you think?
That's not the issue. He was tied up, remember? Even for a creep like Nagito, it'd be impossible for him to tie up his own arms and legs.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, as long as you understand.
Yeah.
It seems we need to discuss how Nagito was able to tie himself up.
Need to discuss? That's not necessary at all. No matter how much you think about it, it's clearly impossible.
Like he said, it seems impossible if you think about it, but I feel like I'm overlooking something.
To actually tie up your own arms and legs. That's obviously impossible!
Tying just the legs is one thing, but tying both arms would be impossible.
You couldn't do much with the free arm.
It'd be impossible if you were by yourself.
How about if you use your teeth? Or if you use your front
Oh my
tail?
god.
Dirty joke! Is that a dirty joke?
If our assumption that Nagito committed suicide is correct, Nagito should have tied himself up too. That's okay, right?
To actually tie up your own arms and legs. That's obviously impossible!
Tying just the legs is one thing, but tying both arms would be
You couldn't do much with the It'd be impossible if you were by your...
How about if you use your front tail? Dirty joke! Is that a
Dirty joke!
To actually tie up your own arms...
No, that's wrong! Hold on a sec. Isn't that premise flawed?
1 sec. Sorry, guys. Be right back.
What? I mean, it's no mistake that his arms and legs were...
No, it shouldn't have been both of his arms. The rope on his right arm was completely burnt up. Based on that, you can't say he was tied up.
That was just burned by the fire. He should have been tied up before then.
It burned because of the fire. Like you said, it might look like that. But that was part of the trap. There's concrete evidence that proves it.
Proof that the burnt rope on Nagito's right arm is a trap.
I see! Take a close look at his right sleeve. Even though the rope was burnt up, the sleeve wasn't burned at all. Don't you agree? A burn like this, no matter how you think about it, is unnatural.
Thanks, Remix.
That rope was burned in advance so it would look like it was burned in the fire.
Then Nagito's right arm wasn't tied up, right? He was able to move it freely, right?
Yeah, that should be the case.
Hajime, that's awesome! I'll let you cop a feel if you want.
Akane, you should not give it away for free. Make sure they pay you first.
That's definitely wrong.
Fine. I just gotta get a Benjamin from him before I let him touch
Oh my
me, right?
god.
That's not what I meant. I'm talking about Nagito. I mean, even if his right hand wasn't tied up, the knife was still stabbed into it, you know?
It's impossible to stab a knife into your right hand with your right hand. Ah, that much is obvious.
Hajime, you tricked me! Give me back that Benjamin!
Not only did she try to charge me, now she wants the money back? What the heck?
Hold on. There should be a way.
Then hurry up and spill it.
If it's something lame, I'll make you give back the Benjamin with 10,000% interest!
A way to stab yourself in your right hand using only your right hand. It's okay, there's definitely an answer for this.
Even if Nagito's right hand was free, how could he stab his right hand with his right hand?
If he threw the knife into the air and let the knife fall, could he stab his hand that way?
Is he a throwing knife expert? Maybe he propped the knife somehow? And slammed his right hand down on it?
Propped it onto what? If he just propped the knife, he could have used his bound left hand.
If you're tied up, your arms won't bend that easily. We don't know if his left hand could even reach his
Give me
right
back
hand.
the Benjamin! Akane, stop it!
Even if Nagito's right, how could he stab his right hand? If he threw the knife and let the knife fall, could he stab his hand out?
Is he a throwing knife expert? Maybe he propped the knife somehow?
I agree with that.
The life-size Monokuma plushie. He must have used that to prop the knife.
Makes sense. That's why there was a big hole in the plushie's stomach. He inserted the knife handle into that hole to prop it up. Then he slammed his hand onto it. If that's it, he had to place the plushie near him. And it also explains the mysterious blood on the plushie.
So the blood on the plushie came from Nagito after he stabbed the knife into his own right hand.
I see. So that's the trick.
But for a moment, I seriously thought Monokuma died or something. A bleeding plushie is super scary! It's got the same fear factor as a doll whose hair grows too long!
After stabbing his hand, he no longer needed the plushie, so he cast it off toward the fire's origin point.
Probably thought the fire would incinerate it and destroy the evidence.
So what do you think now, Fuyuhiko?
I get what you're saying about the wound on his right hand, but there's still one huge problem. The spear. Basically, you're saying Nagito committed suicide by impaling himself with a spear, right? If you think about the order, getting killed by the spear should have been the last thing to happen to Nagito. If that's true, how is that possible? He can't grab a spear with his right hand if a knife is stabbed into it and his left hand was all tied up.
Then he probably took the spear first, and as he endured the pain, he stabbed the knife into his right hand. There is a limit to his constitution. If you got penetrated by something so big and thick, you would die instantly.
Soda, no.
I'm sorry, I didn't catch all that.
Like I said, if you got penetrated by something so big and thick, you would die instantly.
Say it one more time. I need to record it. For reasons.
Hey, bastard, you better cut it out!
Like she said, in that condition, it's very difficult to stab yourself with a spear. It'd be hard to use a spear with a knife stabbed into your right hand while your left hand is tied up.
So you're saying it's impossible?
Stupid Soda.
But no matter what I think, I can't believe Nagito's death was caused by someone else.
I also agree with that. To think that one of us could kill someone with such cruelty, I could never believe that.
You say you can't believe it? You just don't want to believe it, right? But that's why you keep getting betrayed over and over again, right? Same goes for this time, too.
You just shut your mouth. It's against the rules to interfere with everyone. If you even think about doing anything, I have a plan of my own.
Monomi's sassing me!
But it's just as Monokuma said. We've been betrayed over and over again so far. This might also be the same. Calling this a suicide takes too much for granted, and it's too convenient.
Then are you saying there is a killer among us, Kazuichi?
Of course that doesn't include Miss Sonia and me.
As Kazuichi said, it's true we've been constantly betrayed. But even if I'm betrayed again, I still want to believe in everyone. No matter how many times I may be betrayed, I still want to believe in everyone.
I also want to believe that there's no killer, but suicide is unimaginable.
Do you really think so?
But you said it too. It'd be impossible for him to stab himself with a spear in his condition.
I did say difficult, but I never said impossible.
Huh?
I feel that there's some way he could have stabbed himself with that spear.
What kind of way?
I don't know.
You don't know.
It's impossible to figure out by myself. So let's think about it together. That's how. We made it this far up till now.
Everyone working together.
She's right. We made it through several ordeals up till now by doing that. Then, even now...
Alright, let's do this.
How did Nagito stab himself with a spear? Let's work together and think this through.
When the spear stabbed Nagito, his right hand was covered by the knife, right?
He was only able to move his left hand.
but his left hand was also tied up.
Then that rules out his left hand. If that's the case, the only other way is...
He used his teeth? Or maybe he used his
No,
front tail.
Akane!
I know guys have tails that get hard when they're grabbed.
No!
What are you saying?
A blushing Miss Sonia is freaking awesome!
If Nagito committed suicide, then he must have used that spear to stab himself. Even if his arms and legs were tied up, there's no doubt he used some part of his body. The only thing he could have used is...
How did Nagito stab himself? Let's work together and get... When the spear stabbed, his right hand was covered...
He was only able to move his left hand.
But his left hand was also tied up.
Then that rules out his left hand.
No!
No, that's wrong! Hold on. It's still too early to dismiss the possibility that he used his left hand.
Why? I mean, his left hand was tied up, you know?
But there was something off about his left hand. The bloodstain on the palm of his hand. Don't you think it looked somewhat strange? He only had blood on the lower area of his palm. Beyond that point, the bloodstain suddenly cuts off, right?
When the blood splattered, that's as far as it reached, right?
That settles the description of that bloodstain. But it's not the only unnatural bloodstain. Look, there's blood on the back of his hand, around the middle joints of his fingers.
Like you said, it looks like an unnatural bloodstain, but what's wrong with that?
We might need to think and use our imaginations for a bit. If there's blood on his palm and the back of his hand, what was his left hand doing as the blood splattered?
What was Nagito's left hand doing when the blood splattered?
I see! When the blood splattered, he was probably gripping with his left hand. That's why there's such a strange-looking bloodstain on his palm and the back of his hand.
Was he grabbing his front tail? Perish the thought! He was obviously grabbing the spear!
Yeah, he's just fapping.
Now that you mention it, compared to the rest of his body, the wounds on his left arm are pretty mild. He probably made his wounds mild on purpose, so he could keep his strength while he gripped the spear.
But even if he held the spear with his tied-up left hand, it'd be impossible for him to stab himself.
That's right, that's the problem.
Hey, Chiaki, what do you think? Hey, don't tell me you're getting sleepy.
At times like this, you should always strike from a good angle. Just like fixing an old TV.
Remix.
Oh, I got it. Maybe.
Really?
Yeah, like I thought. It's no mistake that Nagito was gripping the spear, I think. However, what's important is what section of the spear he was gripping.
I want to see if I can find this picture of... Oh, I might have to look it up later, but... Let me see if I can find it. Which section of the spear was he holding on to?
I see! That's it! Instead of the handle, Nagito must have been holding on to the cord.
Yeah, I'll have to look for it after.
There was a metal weight at the tip of the cord, but there were bloodstains on that part too. Plus, the joint between the weight and the cord had a bloodstain shaped like it was cut off by something.
Isn't the size of that cut-off section about the same size as a human fist?
Ah, you're right! So this is the part Nagito was gripping, huh? And then, the blood that was supposed to end up here... ended up getting on Nagito's left hand.
But why is it so important to know which part of the spear he was gripping?
You're not gonna say he gripped the tip of the cord, swung the spear around, and stabbed himself, right?
That is where the clue to solve this mystery resides. Right, Chiaki? I am sorry. Of course this mystery will not be solved that easily.
Nagito was gripping the cord extending from the butt. From the butt! Damn it! Nagito was gripping the cord extending from the butt of the spear with his left hand. But from there, how would he stab himself in the stomach with the spear?
It seems we are stuck. Shall we have tea time?
Yes?
At a time like this, how about we stick to the plan to think one step at a time instead of expecting the answers all at once?
That's a long plan name. One step at a time? What does that mean?
Let's focus on the spear first. Namely, where it was and how it was positioned just before it impaled Nagito.
How it was positioned.
Nagito was facing up, and the spear was stabbed through his stomach. So if it's just before that... That's it. Could it be? The state of the spear and the fact that Nagito was holding the tip of the cord attachment. If I put those together and think about it, I should be able to figure out where the spear was and what state it was in before it stabbed Nagito. Are we sure? Logic dive? Logic dive.
Whee!
Where was the spear just before it impaled Nagito? Oh no! I hate those things so much. No! No. Nah. Besides the spear, what else was above Nagito? The plushie. Sprinklers is accurate. Well, no, not above him. But on the ceiling for sure. Nah. Oh. What item connects both the spear and the ceiling girder? Had to think that one through for some reason. It wasn't making sense. Oh god. I also hate when shapes get in my way when I'm data boarding. What the hell?
It's all coming together.
It's annoying.
The spear impaled Nagito as he was laying face up. It must have been perpendicular to him just before that.
Perpendicular? In the middle of the air?
If Nagito did that all by himself, did he have some sort of ESP?
That'd be awesome, but he probably used the ceiling girder directly above him.
Nagito probably slung the cord over the ceiling girder, and using that as a support, he hoisted the spear directly above him. And if Nagito let go of the cord, the spear would have fallen and impaled him while he was laying face up.
I noticed a slight red streak on the ceiling girder. It probably got smeared there during the setup.
The blood on the cord probably rubbed off on the ceiling girder as the spear was falling. So, how about it? Using this method, Nagito could have impaled himself with the spear.
Are you serious? He really committed suicide? Like that?
He probably chose that spear so he could commit suicide like that. If someone else did this, there's no reason they'd go to all this trouble just to kill someone with a spear.
I agree. When I was investigating this case, I kept thinking over and over how strange it was. Why did the killer use the knife and the spear so differently?
So you're saying he needed to use that spear to pull off his trick?
Then, this is for real? He really committed suicide? Every single wound on his body. That was all him?
Not just that, he did all that while he was gripping the spear? That spear should not have stabbed Nagito until the very end.
You know, if you don't look too closely, looks like he's stabbing himself in the dick.
Yep, thank you. That is all. Have a good day.
Which means Nagito wounded himself while he was gripping that spear, right? Did he put the duct tape on his mouth too?
He probably covered his own mouth so we wouldn't hear him screaming in pain.
Did he need to go that far? That's beyond crazy! Why would he do that to himself?
He was probably trying to get us to make a mistake. By committing a suicide that looked like a murder, he was trying to steer us toward the wrong answer. His goal was to get us all executed.
That's why he stabbed himself over and over again?
Did he want us to die that bad?
That's messed up. That's seriously so messed up.
Yeah, that's our Nagito.
Jeez, I was starting to feel a little sympathetic toward him. How stupid of me. I completely underestimated his capacity for malice. Mind-boggling malice that threatens us even after he's died. That's the form his malice took. I'd forgotten all about it until now. If he was here now, he'd probably be sneering at me.
However, there is one thing I still do not understand. He said he would reveal the traitor, right? Whatever became of that?
He was probably planning to kill the traitor along with the rest of us.
So why did he not just do that in the first place? If he had no qualms with killing everyone, he did not have to cause a bomb scare to reveal the traitor.
I bet the bomb scare was part of the strategy behind this trick. He made us split up and search for a bomb so none of us would have an alibi. He created a scenario where any of us could have killed him.
He tried to make us doubt each other and tried to hide the truth behind his suicide.
Did he cause a bomb scare for that reason alone?
He's a fucking bastard who killed himself for his delusions of grandeur. It's not that unthinkable.
You are right, I suppose.
Yeah, it appears we've come to a conclusion. Bastard Nagito committed suicide. It was all done by him so we'd be executed.
That should be okay, right? Right?
What? You're not satisfied yet?
No, I agree that Nagito killed himself, but I feel like there's something that doesn't make sense. It's probably just my imagination.
Hi, Biss.
Why? I mean, I sort of understand what she's talking about. I don't think that's a mistake to assume that Nagito committed suicide, but why do I feel so uneasy about it? Is it because we don't know who the traitor is, or...
So what are you gonna do? Is it okay to proceed with the voting time?
What do you think, Akane?
Well, there's no doubt Nagito's death was a suicide. Oh well, I guess my gut is wrong sometimes.
You're right. It is not as though we can draw any other conclusion.
Then it's okay to end it here. That means we're done with this last class trial and we can leave this island, right? It's okay to reach such a happy ending, right?
Then it's okay? It's okay to say, you've decided on the killer? Understood. Then voting time.
No, hold on a sec.
Hold on. Why?
Sorry, just a little more. I want you guys to wait just a little more. I can't help but feel like there's still something we overlooked.
Okay, what did you miss?
Like who the traitor is?
But the issue here is who killed Nagito, right? Even if we identify the traitor, the conclusion won't change.
That's true, but...
The mystery isn't just about who the traitor is.
Huh?
No matter how you look at it, Nagito's death is a suicide. But... I'm a little worried, you know? I'm worried about starting the voting time while there's still a mystery.
Hey, what do you mean it's not about who the traitor is? What kind of mystery is left?
Oh, nope, you haven't had that reveal yet, Kay. You're okay.
You've only missed, I guess, their discussion of the wounds.
There's just one thing that doesn't make sense, and it relates to Nagito's death. Plus, it's something even Nagito couldn't influence. He couldn't even tamper with the evidence for it.
Something related to Nagito's death, and it's something that even he couldn't have messed with.
You're gonna keep going? Here I thought we were finally finished.
Something related to Nagito's death. A piece of evidence that even he couldn't have something. What was it that Monokuma talked about? Oh, the bombs then. But is that even a thing? Maybe Monokuma's accountant. No?
Crap!
Something that even he couldn't have messed with? I didn't think that through. The poison?
Crap!
Nope. I'm on a roll! Whee! This? Nope.
Crap!
What did I... Oh god, this is what I get for not paying attention. This.
Crap! I see! Is it about the Monokuma file?
Yeah, that's it.
Huh? There was something suspicious in the Monokuma file?
Thanks I gotta pay attention from now on. I'm not getting distracted anymore. The suspicious part of the Monokuma file that Chiaki's worried about is... What is it? What's hidden in... No! Don't do this to me again! Something in the file. Something in the file that even Nagito wouldn't have known about? Is that what they said? Time? Like, I don't... Oh god. Oh my god. Is it cause of death? Cause of death! Oh god. Oh god. Hold on. Oh god, stop! No! Too many! I can't! God damn it, no!
Got it! In this particular case's Monokuma file, there's no specific cause of death.
See, I don't like that just because I played the game before. I don't like that, I don't like that people go, oh, you played this before, why don't you know? Like, I don't play it back to back to back to back to back to back to get, but it's not like the only game that I play. I play it with it like a few months apart, so I totally forget things. And it's normal for me to forget things. So thanks for the pressure. And for making me feel like shit. Just for not knowing.
Isn't that weird? Until now, the files always specified the cause of death.
But the cause of death is obvious, is it not? The spear in Nagito's stomach. It is obvious just by looking at it that it was a cause of death.
Maybe it's not included if it's not important enough to write about.
Well, Monokuma?
I plead the fifth!
There he goes again! I'm so appalled that I have nothing to say.
But even during Gundam's case, and before during Nikon's case, the thing he purposely omitted from the Monokuma file was always the most important mystery in the case.
Oh, I see.
Are you saying that applies this time too?
Cause of death isn't there, right? It's just all the different injuries that he has.
Hold on a sec. Then, are you saying there's more to Nagito's death? Are you suggesting, again, that his death wasn't a suicide?
You guys were the ones who said it was a suicide in the first place.
It's just, I've been hearing it a lot lately whenever I play these games. I've been having to hear from like almost every single time somebody says, haven't you played this before? And it just, it starts getting on my nerves a little bit. That's all. So I'm not mad at you, I'm tired of hearing people say that.
No, I don't think it's a mistake to call Nagito's death a suicide, but it's not just a suicide. Come to think of it, did Nagito really commit suicide just to get us all
I've
killed?
only beaten this game twice or once or twice in English and then in Japanese. So it's, you know.
Are you sticking up for him?
That's not what I meant. I mean it in a bad sense.
Bad sense?
I just remembered that his malice always defied our expectations, and that concerns me.
Good ham.
For example, would that malice just end here?
Huh?
Did Nagito's malice drive him to risk his life for a truth we'd reach this easily? I mean, this is Nagito we're talking about,
Very
you
true.
know?
How interesting! You sure do believe in Nagito, huh? Because you believe in his malice, you continue to suspect his malice. I see. I guess that's what passes for friendship these days.
What friendship?
What should we do, you guys? Should we proceed with the vote? I think we should keep going until everyone is satisfied, even if it's just to be safe.
That's true. Plus, I think in these kinds of games, it's like, you know how things go, so you pretty much know how everything plays out, but it's the way that it proceeds through the game that you have to remember. It's like you know all the details of what happens, it's just putting it together during a trial is the difficult part, I think.
You're right. We only get one chance to vote after all.
Just to be safe, huh? Guess I have no choice. If that's the case, I'll do my best to go along with it.
This is friggin' annoying. But if you guys say you're doing it, there's no way I'm gonna back out.
Hey, Monokuma! You heard us. The voting's gonna have to wait!
We've come this far. Let's work hard till the very end. If we work together, everything should be all right. That's what I believe.
Aww.
Dual destinies, Biss. Come on, man. Read up on your Ace Attorney, man.
Splendid. You guys are so splendid right now. That's right. If all your hopes are united, no despair can shake you.
If all your hopes are united, no despair can shake you, huh? Now that I think about it, Nagito said the same thing. The absolute hope that can overcome any despair. He said he was yearning for that. Then this situation we're in might be the thing that Nagito wanted all along. No, never mind. I'm probably overthinking. I think Ace Attorney, the series, is one of those games that I can't really say one is bad. I like all of them. That's just my opinion, though.
No.
Man, my heart was racing like crazy when I thought the voting time was gonna start, but... Well, if you think about it rationally, there's no way it was gonna happen. We haven't done this bit yet. Most of the players probably figured that out too. You're the only one who didn't know. Isn't that right, Monomi? Hey, how much longer are you planning to sulk? Let's get along like we always do. Alright, you passed! Friendship is measured by how long you can stand in silence when you're all alone with someone else. Oh, sorry, stand the silence. So, Monomi and I are the bestest of best friends!
Don't say such stupid things! I hate you so much right now!
Enough! Why do I have to be hated that much?
Besides the fact that you snap at me like that, I don't trust you at all! Not even a teensy tiny 1mm bit!
How sad! Distrusting your friend is much more shameful than being betrayed by that friend, you know.
We aren't even friends in the first place!
Then as your older brother, let me say this.
You're not even my brother!
It's sad to live a life without friendship. That's even sadder than watching a high school rom-com full of guys.
Well, there may be some demands for that. I fell for it! I totally took the man bait! Monomi. By now, there's nothing more for me to say. Anyway, my chest is full of pride right now. Everyone is united against despair. They're totally awesome. That's why I'm gonna fight too. I will fight the only way I can. I'm gonna show that guy my fearsome retaliation! That's basically it.
So if we're working together, where do we start? With the cause of death missing from the Monokuma file?
Why don't we try removing all our preconceived notions before we discuss this?
Aw, no problem, Kay. Don't worry about it. You're fine.
In the beginning, our discussion advanced by assuming Nagito's death was caused by the spear.
Wow.
It's better to confirm if there are any other possibilities. That's what I think.
Thanks for sharing this. Sharing is caring.
Other possibilities.
If something other than a spear killed Nagito, all I can think of is the knife stabbed into his hand.
Nah.
But
That was definitely a gruesome wound, but it wouldn't be the fatal wound, don't you think?
If you think the cuts on his legs and left arm aren't the fatal wounds...
Are we finished already?
I feel like it's possible that we overlooked something.
Overlooked, huh?
then let's bring up whatever we can think of, one after the other. That might clear some things up.
Exactly. We should cooperate at a time like this.
A fatal wound that wasn't the spear. We don't even know if it actually exists, but if it does, we need to find out what it is no matter what.
You mentioned it.
What do you mean, someone?
Let us consider a different fatal wound.
It's not the knife in his right hand, right? It's not the other wounds, right?
With all those wounds, maybe he simply bled to death.
There's no way he burned to death. Was the cause of death something that cannot be seen?
If it's something that can't be
Seen. Maybe he choked himself with a sleeper hold.
Or liquefied his gut.
Guts with a body blow.
just thinking about it,
That's already
a horrible death.
Let us consider it different. It's not the knife in his right. It's not the other wounds. With all those wounds, maybe he simply bled.
There's no way he burned to death. Was the cause of death something that cannot be seen?
I agree with that. That's it. I totally forgot about that possibility. If the cause of death was something we can't see, then we have to consider poison as a possible method.
It is true that poison is not something you can see, but why would you bring that up all of a sudden?
I remember, when I went to investigate Nagito's cottage, I discovered something really strange. Inside the refrigerator, I found a bottle of Monokuma's special poison.
Poison?
Additionally, that's a poison made specifically for killing. I see. Now that you mention it, there's no way a toxin like that doesn't relate to the case at all. If poison was the cause of death, it would not leave an obvious wound on Nagito's body.
However, it's common for blood blotches to appear on a body that's been poisoned.
I see. You sure seem to know a lot about medicine.
What does that mean?
But, even if blood blotches appear, if the body was already covered in blood, there's no way we'd notice them easily, right?
Did he wound his body just to camouflage them?
That's also a possibility.
But still, both of Nagito's hands were full. So how would he drink poison?
His left hand was tied up and gripping the spear, and his right hand had a knife stuck in it.
If it was a slow-acting poison, it is possible he consumed it in advance.
No, the warning label on the bottle explicitly states the effect is instant.
Then it's impossible. Both his hands were full just before he died.
And this is when the hardtail appears.
You're totally overvaluing that tail.
His mouth was covered with duct tape, you know. If he wanted to drink poison, how'd he get it past his lips?
If there's no way he could have drank the poison, it might be impossible. Just kidding. It's not like we're out of possibilities yet.
Are there any left?
Hell no! No matter how you slice it, he was totally killed
You don't
by
have
that
to drink
spear.
poison to be poisoned.
Since we've already ruled out so many possibilities, it might be easier to think about what really killed him. Operation Elimination Method. The hint should be written on the poison's warning label. Maybe.
The way the poison entered Nagito's body. The answer's written on the warning label? I should think carefully and try to remember it. What state was the poison in when it affected Nagito? This would explain the tape over the mouth. He wouldn't need it if it's in a gassy state. You don't need to drink poison to be poisoned. Didn't it say the volatility is also very high if it's in a gaseous state? Oh shit. Oh, come on! Stop being a shit. Slow and steady through this one, because I'm not messing up again. How did the poison enter Nagito's body? Through his nose, props.
It's all coming together! What if instead of drinking the poison, we assume he inhaled it?
Inhaled?
It's written on the poison's warning label.
Oh, it evaporates quickly. Okay. This enhanced liquid is highly potent and takes effect immediately. Please handle with care. Though its volatility is low, oh, it's low, this liquid is very dangerous when vaporized. Aha.
Dangerous when vaporized. In other words, breathing in the gas is fatal.
Poison gas! Then all he had to do was breathe it in through his nose!
Breathed that poisonous gas inside the warehouse? But if poisonous gas had spread throughout the warehouse, why didn't it kill us?
The reason we didn't breathe in the poisonous gas, I should be able to explain that mystery too. The merge.
The sprinklers in the warehouse. Thanks to those, we didn't inhale that poison gas.
The poison gas disappeared because of the sprinklers? It wasn't the fire?
Well, this was also written on the poison's warning label.
In a gaseous state, it is heavier than air. It breaks down in minutes, and it is susceptible to hydrolysis. So it is possible for you to poison someone to death without any complications.
Of course! Hydrolysis! The chemical bonds that formed the poison were broken down by the water from the sprinklers!
Also, the poison is apparently denser than air, so it probably didn't affect us because we were standing.
But Nagito was laying down, so he must have breathed in a whole bunch of it, huh?
If it meets the requirements that well, maybe it's not just a possibility anymore.
Yeah, the true cause of Nagito's death was poisoning. The wounds on his body, the spear in his stomach, it was all to keep us from learning the truth.
So what?
Huh?
We figured out that Nagito died from poison, but so what? In the end, it doesn't change the fact that he committed suicide, right? Then enough already!
Nagito inhaled the poison he prepared and died. Yeah, that still sounds like a suicide.
Well, with this, we have a clearer picture. We've also
See
determined
that?
the true cause of death.
Thanks, Day. See you later.
All right, all the mysteries should be solved now. We should get on with the voting time, right?
Well, but
What? There's still more?
I mean, I'm more the advisor type, you know? I had to, I'm sorry. Not all the mysteries have been solved yet. In the end, Nagito's motive is still unclear. Did he commit suicide just so he could kill every last one of us? Was that really his motive? Is that really okay?
Hey, what happened? There's no reason to wonder about that stuff anymore, you know.
Nagito's motive. Nagito's malice. Is this really okay? Can we really finish this here? No, that can't be.
There might have been an accomplice.
Huh?
Chiaki, what did you just say?
If Nagito committed suicide by inhaling poison that he brought, then why wasn't there anything that looked like poison at the crime scene?
Anything that looked like poison?
If Nagito brought poison to the warehouse, it's strange that we couldn't find it there.
If Nagito really brought poison to the warehouse, then the thing that would have been left behind is... the meat on the bone.
Are you talking about the container the poison was kept in?
Yeah. If Nagito brought it, it's strange we couldn't find that container anywhere, right?
He can't carry around poison without putting it in a container?
Yeah, that was written on the warning label.
Keep this liquid secure by storing it in a cool place in a glass or plastic container away from sunlight.
The container probably melted in the fire.
It's probably plastic or glass, right? There's no way it'd completely incinerate. Even the plastic fragments of the fire grenades we used to put out the fire didn't completely burn up, you know?
Then, does that mean someone got rid of the container?
So that's why you mentioned an accomplice. That is impossible. I mean, an accomplice? It is just too...
Like, does that really matter all that much? I mean, even if he had an accomplice, it doesn't change the fact that Nagito still committed suicide.
You're right. Someone might have accidentally took it away from the crime scene.
Ah, you're right. You're totally right. That's totally it.
Right? Isn't it okay to close this case yet? I'm not in the mood for unexpected twists.
I don't want to hurt anyone. I don't want to get hurt anymore by hurting someone else. Everyone's tired. Tired of doubting everyone else. I also feel that way. That's why I want to just rule this as Nagito's suicide. If I do that, nobody here has to get hurt. But...
That's no good.
Huh?
I feel like Nagito is seeing through us. By calling this Nagito's suicide, we're trying to take the easy way out so we don't hurt anyone else. But if Nagito was here right now, he'd probably be sneering at us. He'd probably say something like, "So that's the extent of your hopes."
So Nagito's ghost is whispering to you, huh? The power of friendship bursts beyond death, huh? A fiery outcome like this is right out of a teen manga. Still, that's pretty messed up.
Shut up! You just be quiet.
I get what you're saying, but in the end, the reason he died is still the same as before, right? Even if we solve this mystery, the conclusion won't change at all.
I mean, it'd be a suicide regardless, right?
Even if there really was an accomplice, is there any reason we should take the time to figure out who it is? Like Fuyuhiko said earlier, it is possible that somebody accidentally removed the poison from the crime scene.
But I just can't imagine ending this by turning our backs on the truth.
It's fine, okay? There are some things we're better off not knowing. And we probably just didn't notice it. Like maybe the container was hiding with the fire grenade fragments.
What is this feeling just now? Even though it was brief, it was like a strong flash of light running through the back of my head. Maybe what Akane said just now might be a new clue. From there, I might be able to reach the answer. I don't think I saved it a while. Did you? The way Nagito brought the poison, which means the thing he used as a container, was...
I got it!
Huh?
The fire grenades! Nagito put the poison inside one of the fire grenade canisters and transported it to the warehouse.
He used one of the fire grenade canisters?
Yeah, the container with the poison in it wasn't secretly taken away by someone. Instead, it was in a container that didn't need to be taken away in the first place. As long as he put the poison in the same container he brought to the warehouse, it can be hidden with the other fire grenades we used, so there's no need to dispose of the container later.
Bastard. He totally knew we were gonna throw those fire grenades.
Which means, did Nagito exchange the contents of a fire grenade?
Yeah, that has to be it.
When I first discovered those fire grenades, I tried to study them a little bit, but the canister was completely sealed shut by a layer of aluminum underneath the lid.
You just have to peel off that seal and swap the insides, right?
That is true, but there was no sign he was even at the break room.
Hold on. Did you say aluminum?
Hajime. Could it be?
If so, then there's no mistake. Nagito definitely swapped the contents of one of the fire grenades.
Seriously? That's impossible! Miss Sonia just said so right now!
Sonia's words are proof that the poison was swapped with the contents of a fire grenade. Huh?
Sonia's words contain a clue that the contents of a fire grenade were swapped with the poison. Well, it could...
I can prove it with this! Take a look. We found this under Nagito's bed when we were investigating his cottage.
Huh? That's just a piece of trash.
No, that is not just a piece of trash. The seal I saw on that fire grenade matched this. It is the same aluminum.
You found the aluminum seal under Nagito's bed?
There's more. That's not the only thing we found in Nagito's room. We also found a gas mask and gloves under his bed, too.
Did he use those when he put the poison inside the fire grenade?
It's a dangerous poison after all. He took extreme caution when swapping them.
So, what's the issue? Nagito put the poison in the grenade canister, brought it with him, breathed it in, and died, right? So in the end, he still fucking committed suicide! Enough already!
What? Best I always use that.
You're right. If the canister wasn't thrown away, then it just means that there wasn't an accomplice after all.
See, I told you. The conclusion is still the same. Nagito committed suicide. End of story.
I admit that there wasn't an accomplice. That was just my misunderstanding. You're right. In actuality, the truth is even more horrifying.
What did you say?
Hey, what are you planning to say now?
What the hell? Do you still want to keep going?
Is this not settled? There is no denying that Nagito's death was a suicide.
No, it's not.
Chiaki?
I'm sorry, but I just realized it.
Realized what?
We know Nagito used the grenade canister to store the poison, so when was it deployed in the warehouse? When did Nagito breathe in the poison? When I thought along those lines, that's when I realized it.
The horrifying truth?
It probably happened at the same time.
The moment the fire grenades were brought and the moment Nagito breathed in the poison were the same? Could that same moment be...
I see!
Are you saying it was when we all threw the fire grenades?
Yeah, I think so. When we all threw the grenades to put out the fire in the warehouse, the poison was deployed, and it converted to poison gas and killed Nagito.
If that is true, then the person who brought the poison and spread it was...
One of us.
What the heck?
One of us threw the poison grenade that killed Nagito?
Hold on a sec. Then Nagito was...
It would mean he didn't kill himself.
You said so yourself! You said Nagito committed suicide!
Then who killed Nagito?
You mean, who's the actual killer, right?
Do you know?
Who prepared the poison fire grenade that killed Nagito?
Huh? The person who prepared the poison fire grenade was...
I see!
It was Nagito, obviously. We just discussed this a few minutes ago.
Then who set the warehouse fire that caused one of us to throw the poison grenade?
The person who set the warehouse fire was...
I see!
That was also Nagito.
Hey, how many times are you gonna ask the same damn question?
The next question will be my last. Considering all the facts up till now, why did Nagito set the warehouse on fire?
The reason Nagito set the warehouse on fire?
I see!
Don't tell me. He set the warehouse on fire just so we'd have to throw the fire grenades?
He set the fire just so we'd put it out? Why'd he do that?
It was a trap.
A trap?
Preparing the poison. Creating a reason for us to throw the poison. It was all a setup by Nagito. It was all a trap to make one of us throw the poison grenade.
Seriously, I'm asking you who threw it.
I don't know. The person who threw it probably didn't know either.
Huh? Could it be... Was that Nagito's trap?
This wasn't an intentional murder. This was a murder that Nagito forced someone to do, and for that reason. He put the fire grenade that he filled with poison with the other grenades. Setting up a murder nobody can solve. That was Nagito's true goal.
What?